All right, welcome back. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of The Battle of the Dons. Tonight, we're going to talk about a man who didn't just report the news, he became the news. A journalist who blurred the line between facts and feelings, a media icon during the Trump years, who disappeared the moment the platform did. This is Don Lemon and why Americans don't trust the media anymore. So, we came up with this idea to do this episode or this 2-part episode on the Dons, one being Donald Trump and one being Don Lemon. It's almost impossible not to know who he is. Don Lemon started, his mainstream career with primetime and CNN. He was very opinion-driven political commentary constantly. From some of the things I learned about Don Lemon, he went to broadcast journalism school. It's called Brooklyn College. It's an extremely left college that he attended. He also went to Louisiana State University. He's known for blending news and reporting with strong personal opinions. And I think personally, that's why I have a problem with him, because he doesn't really stick to the facts. He imparts his own opinion on it. And I think that's something that we all know is a problem with the media, especially in America. But his platform was so massive and he put such a target on Trump that it gave him stardom. I mean, it put him on the map. Usually anybody that really gets involved, in my opinion, with Trump, like the Trump name puts you on the map. You become famous because you become a part of Trump.
Yeah. Good or bad.
Yeah, good or bad. His open hostility towards Donald Trump, emotional monologues, and frequent framing of Trump supporters as societal threats. I mean, like you and I were damaging to the American people, in Don Lemon's opinion.
Yeah, because we're white men, straight white men.
Yeah, and then now recently, he left CNN in 2023.
He was fired.
Fired. And he went like an independent route. And then now in the news recently, he's become a major focal point after reporting on and appearing with a group that disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota this past week. And it's gone as far as the DOJ has reportedly put him on notice and is considering charges under the FACE Act.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I learned that piece of information, I did a little more research. And then this article came up, and this is funny if you ask me. This was by BET, Black Entertainment Television.
So that's still a thing?
It's a thing, but now they have like a publication and everything.
Fucking sounds like some white supremacy stuff there.
On MLK Day, Lemon was accused of being a protest ringleader and has been flagged under laws once used against the Ku Klux Klan.
See,
when I saw that,
there is a God.
There is a God. Exactly.
God's doing his work.
Shit. He is such a piece of shit. And it's funny. We said this in the last episode about if Trump were to be found in the Epstein files, we would quit on his ass. This motherfucker has some nerve. We are cool with the gay community. We're not cool with the trans community. We think they're mentally ill. But he is married to a white person. He is one of the most
white man.
What?
A white man, yes.
Yeah. White man. A white man. Yes. Not a white person.
Yeah.
A white man. He really is just so fucked up in the head. And tonight's episode is going to be a big part of it. That's why Ronan said this is one of his favorite projects, is the two Dons, because Ronan really does have such a disdain for Don Lemon, and we're just going to see how much tonight.
Well, can I say something on that note?
Yeah, please.
So I was going to see how long it took for us to get into the fact that he was gay and married to a white man. I didn't know it was going to be under 5 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was extremely relevant.
It is. I'm glad you brought it up first. Because I was going to come out with this comment. Okay. I have a comment. I was doing something today out in the yard, and this hit me so hard that I had to run inside and write it on my index card. It says, Don Lemon is a guy who complains about getting screwed by white men, goes home and gets screwed by a white man. The irony.
Oh, the irony. Well, let's get into this, because I know you're going to have some really good answers, and I know you've done your homework probably way before this show was ever even thought of. You would mention him and cringe, and I could see it, and I think this is going to be fun tonight. So we're going to have a little fun with this one, because he's not the president of the United States. Fuck this bitch.
Yeah, like when certain things are like going on, and it's like right now kids are like 6, 7, 6. You hear people saying, and you're like, man, I can't wait till that goes away. That was Don Lemon. Like when he went away, it was like, hey, life is good again. And then now this motherfucker is back.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to remember, he's doing this independently now, and he's not going to make the kind of money he made with CNN. He had one of the biggest platforms in CNN history, and it really had a lot to do with Trump. Truly, it did.
It was fueled
so much about how his success really came about, and it had to do with him just saying that word, Donald Trump. Oh my God, absolutely. Trump would say, fake news, CNN fake news, and you're horrible reporters. Man, CNN was like
CNN's fucking
dick on that one.
Listen, the best thing about CNN is Scott Jennings, who's a fucking conservative, just to keep them floating.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is I'm going to ask you this question, because it's probably one of my top 3 questions in reference to Don Lemon and his career. Did Don Lemon cover Trump or campaign against him? And I really want you to think about this question.
Well, I would totally say he campaigned against him. He never gave him a fair shot, ever. And you hit it on the head, dude, in your opening, where you talked about the difference of being factual versus your opinion. And I never thought of it that way, but that's exactly what he does. And
oh my God, his opinion truly, that's the epitome of a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he had to bring his opinion into his journalism really bothered me as like an amateur journalist or influencer or podcaster. That's not like, I don't know.
Like I don't give a fuck I don't care what you think about. Just give me the fucking facts, bro.
Now you say he campaigned against him. What kind of irreversible damage did that do to America?
I think what it did was it threw fuel on the fire for liberals. I think because they probably felt the same. And a lot of times people, when they hear somebody say it out loud, they're like, oh my God, I'm not the only one.
Sure.
And it kind of like threw coal into that steam engine that drove it forward. I think he was reckless a lot.
So with that answer, him being reckless, this is perfect for the next question. At what point did Don Lemon really stop being a journalist and becoming a political personality? And when I say personality, it's like The View or a talk show, like when did he go from being a journalist, whether we agreed with his journalism or not, to becoming a personal, political personality?
When he was on CNN with Chris Cuomo, those two were like little butt buddies.
Isn't that funny?
Little soy boys.
Cuomo's stance right now in the news.
He's
ever
changed.
Since his daddy got his ass handed to him by Zoran the Mom Dom Dom.
Yeah, his brother got his ass kicked.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's Chris Cuomo was smart though by fucking separating, pulling away from Don, because Don, he knew it. He knew Don was reckless, and he was. It was like imagine being on a boat. Imagine if you and I were on a kayak and there was a hole in it. And are you going to sit on that boat with me knowing that I'm sinking it? You're going to be like, I'm out of here, bro. And when his ass got fired, Cuomo bounced.
Absolutely. And, I already know the answer to this next question. I know what you're going to say, but I have to ask it because the wording, or the one key word, is so powerful. And the question that I had for you was, is Don Lemon a symptom of media bias or one of its architects? And I know the answer, architect. That is such a powerful word. Is that word like the foundation and blueprint essentially for how the sheep follow the rest of the herd,
Yeah, I think he's I always looked at him as a spokesperson. He was like a billboard.
A political personality.
Yeah,
he went from journalism to being like David Letterman, a talk show.
It's like Tucker Carlson. Like he's the Tucker Carlson of the left. And you tell me that the writers aren't in his ear, and the producers that are like, all right, Don, here's what we're gonna do. You're our little golden boy, and you're gonna fucking push the envelope to these fucking lefty lunatics.
Okay.
So hey, notice on the last episode I didn't use the R word.
No, you didn't. Very
Not
good.
once.
Proud of
I'm
you.
gonna try this one, but talking about Don Lemon, I don't fucking know.
All right. So this one right here, we'll never get the true answer for. And this doesn't just have to do with Don Lemon, but he's big in this. But should journalists ever reveal who they vote for?
I don't see it a problem.
What, keeping their secrecy?
No, I don't mind. I don't mind if somebody votes for Trump or votes against Trump. But
Yeah,
like,
but really the question is, should journalists reveal? And the reason the question is heavy for me is because if you're someone like Don Lemon and you switch gears and you go from being a journalist to a political personality, your word becomes very powerful because now they know you're associated with voting for Kamala, right? They will tend to gravitate towards you. I feel like journalists should never reveal necessarily who they voted for and truly value and honor being a journalist. Like
I see.
false information or personal points of views should be left out
So
when it comes to reporting the news.
I feel kind of on that note, I feel like me personally, I don't care if they voted for Trump or not, but they do need to be professional enough to keep it factual. Like if you're a Trump guy or you're a Kamala person, you have to be able to stay on the path. Like you can't veer.
I guess it's almost blatantly obvious based on the type of journalism that you do know who they voted for.
Yeah.
I just think that it's like a referee, in the NFL. Let's say he loves the Redskins.
Yeah.
Should he be on the field refereeing?
That's a great analogy.
You know what I mean?
Because Vegas would tell you no.
Either keep quiet and have moral values and dignity when reporting the news, or you divulge it and you give up the right to be a journalist.
That's a great point.
I don't know. It's a very hot topic because look at it. Forget the journalists. We can actually say CNN and your mind thinks left, Fox, right, this, that, just as a label because of the type of journalism. And I think that what we don't think it. We know that the media is evil and lies, yet we still fucking watch the news. We still look at the media as a source of like proof or an answer to the mystery as to why Trump calls people retards and why he says fuck the windmills and then tanks the economy. Like I don't know.
Well, I think like everyone, it's opinions, right? Everyone has an asshole. What do they say? Opinions are like assholes, right? And you're right. It's like you either get it from the news or you get it from like a podcast or you get like whoever it is, you're getting it from a source. And how much do you trust that source? Like if I ever say anything, my dad will say, "Who told you that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it was on the news." "What news?" "This news." Well, they're very left leaning or they're very right leaning. Like, you always got to like think about who is the messenger, who is sending the message, where do they stand politically? Because obviously if you gave me an index card with a question on it and you gave the same index card to someone who was left, I'm going to ask the question or spin it in a different way than the other person's going to do it, solely because I'm going to guide you down the road that I want you to answer it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's funny that you said that, man. You mentioned your dad, and it like was such a perfect way to ask this next question. And I really want you to think about this when you ask it and reference someone like your dad or someone that is completely tolerates bias. Okay. Why do audience tolerate bias until it turns on them? They're okay with this, but then the minute, like, look at the news right now. We're okay with, well, no, let me rephrase that. We have this situation going on in Minnesota or Somalia, whatever you want to call it now. And all of a sudden, these people that are in the spotlight are automatically shifting gears and looking at the ICE problem. Why are we forgetting about the fraud part? That's I said it in the last episode. In my opinion, the fraud happening in Minnesota is bigger than Jan 6th.
So, yes. Well, but
you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
now it's turning on them, so all of a sudden they're like, "Ace."
So you
I'm
know
almost
what?
convinced now at this point that they fucking set that Renee not so good up to get shot just so they could have a platform to fucking fight ICE, fight Trump, and tuck their tail and run on the fraud that they created.
You know what I think?
Millions, bro.
You know what I think? This just hit me the other day, and you know the more I mentioned this the other day, like the more research I do on these shows, it really is like it's like a
It's
fucking
upsetting.
it's like a weight on my shoulders, dude. Like
It's
every week,
upsetting.
it's like it makes me sad, dude. It's so fucking like I've never researched anything like this.
You know,
So
when Ronan and I started this project, we wanted to do this and be like really simple, but I think we've taken it to the next level and we've really upped the ante for ourselves personally. But the one thing I can honestly say, and I bet you're in agreement with this, we then didn't realize what you just said, the toll it would take on us.
yeah, dude, it's like
been
there's
heavy.
times I'll say to myself, I'm like, I need to go touch some grass.
You know, but we're committed to this project because now we want to know, like we say this secretly and we don't really talk much about it on the show, and Ronan can attest to this, but we want to make sure that if we can make just the smallest little dent in a young person's life and hope that we can let them, you know, help them see, you know, what each party brings to the table. Look, we're the first to admit our party is not perfect. We will fucking smash our president in a heartbeat if he's on that Epstein list. Ask
Absolutely.
a liberal if they would.
No, and most liberals would hate us saying that because they're taught that we're just some bootlicking maggots, as they say, that we'll just do anything that he says. So here's
Absolutely.
going back to your question. Here's what I think is actually happening. The fact is, what I think is all of this ICE shit that's going crazy in Minnesota. Tim Walz and Jacob Fry are pushing this. They're saying go out. There's people standing on the corners with fucking AKs, and let's not forget about the Black Panthers that have all 12 of them have come up. This is what I think's happening. I think Tim Walz
AR
that are on. I have that exact one, and it's the magazine's empty. If you look at the side, you can see the 22 is empty.
But with the slide on it.
Yes, I think Tim Walz is pushing this incitement. He's inciting this violence to steer away from the fraud.
We know
I
that.
think it's all a fucking, he's trying to get it away from him by focusing on pushing these protests.
That's exactly why I asked the question, and I'll say it again. Why do audiences tolerate bias until it turns on them?
Because
all of these people were perfectly fine, motherfuck Trump and motherfuck this, and look at what they're doing until it came to their doorstep. And Nick Shirley, thank you, exposed all of this. And here's another thing with Nick Shirley and this whole segment on Don Lemon. How irresponsible of someone like Don Lemon. You're telling me in the circles that man ran in, never once did he pick up on chatter about fraud in Somalia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, he did.
Disruptive.
He did, but he wasn't allowed to talk about it. They all fucking knew about it. This isn't breaking news. This shit's been around since 2018. Sure, everybody knew about it.
But what I'm saying is, if you're going to use your personal political preference as the crutch on the articles and the stories that you headline, I think you should be stripped of the right to be a journalist.
Yeah, and which is why he was fired.
But that's like saying, look, we did this, leave us alone. Yeah. Motherfuck, every single person other than that one guy that you mentioned, CNN, probably has a bullseye of Trump in their bedroom and they throw darts at it or something, you know?
Yeah. So I've there's certain names.
Walt is a crook, dude, and Fry is a fucking crook, and they are tucking their tails and running.
There's certain names that you hear in your life, and everybody's different. Everybody's got the list. It's like when you say who's the top 5 rappers of all time, like you've got your own list. Don Lemon has always been on my fucking hate list. I hate every fucking fiber about him. And I try to look into like, okay, well maybe I literally hate every single fucking thing about that guy. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's a fucking leech. He's a scumbag. And
do you think Don would have survived if he leaned right politically? You think
Uh,
he would have ever made it on CNN as a
on
right
CNN, no. I mean,
any platform?
he's the most, he is like the poster child of liberal. Like, he's black, he's gay, he's fucking, like, he'll suck the teat of anything.
He worked for CNN.
Exactly. He's a puppet. He's a fucking, he's the perfect DE.
So let me ask you this then. If he's so perfect, why did they get rid of him? And why has he lost relevance so quickly after CNN, only to just pop back up in the news when he talks about Nicki Minaj, or he puts his boots on the ground in Minnesota and invades a church
Well,
on a Sunday? I
so
mean,
let me
like,
touch
what
on
the
that.
fuck?
Let me
Like, did
touch on
he,
that.
what is it?
So I'll touch on that. So
Please do.
in 2023, he was let go for unprofessionalism, misogyny, conduct, CNN. Right.
Okay.
Obviously, he disputed and denied any of it. Whatever. They commented on his behavior issues, things like that. Obviously, he's made some. I've got some notes here. He's made some fucked up comments. Right. And he's the fucking victim, dude. He's the poor pity me. I'm the black man, and I'm gay, and everyone's homophobic, and they're white supremacy. Dude, black people can't fucking stand him. Gay people can't stand him. That's why you think he's got a white husband, because fucking ain't nobody black giving him no ding ding. They can't stand his bitch ass. So when he was fired, he went away, dude. He was like a rash that fucking was cleaned up.
Yeah.
Where he fucked up was, I haven't heard Don Lemon's name in the last 3 years
Like I said, until Minnesota.
last weekend. Now,
Yep.
here's the funny thing.
Isn't that some shit? You come back and within a week on MLK Day as a black man, you are, the face act.
He was so pressed. Listen to this. He was so pressed to come back that he was so unprofessional and so reckless that he came back as a fucking joke. Nobody's taking him serious. This motherfucker might go to jail. So let me read what the FACE Act is. In 1994,
No, tell them. I was going to do that, but please go ahead.
So-
tell them.
So in 1994, there was the thing called the FACE Act. It's a federal crime to threaten, physically obstruct, order to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any health services or places of worship. So,
and that's what Don did.
That's what Don did.
The place of worship part.
Then,
so the charges coming at him.
And then what you're talking about is there's also the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, which was updated in to enforce the 14th Amendment protections. Lawsuits that conspire to interfere with civil rights, liability, and knowingly to stop such conspiracies. Here's where he fucked up, and it shows how unprofessional he was. There's a video of him in the parking lot of this church, right? And he's doing his little he's got his little black wiener to his mouth. And there's a group behind him, and they're all talking about what they're about to do. And he basically incriminates himself. And he's like, oh yeah, we're out here. We're at Operation Pull Up. That's what it's called. Operation Pull Up, where they pull up to a place and he's like, I don't want to give away any secrets, but this is what we're doing, and this is who's running it, and da 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 da. It was an insurrection on a church. That's so. The thing that bothers me is, like, first of all, when is it going to be enough? Where's the line? Like, are we seriously not going to draw a line in churches? But more importantly, it's like, why is it that you feel that you could just walk into a church, like the one fucking safe space? Flip the script. What if Tucker Carlson was rolling up in a mosque or a synagogue or or a temple? Like, so it really shows his how rusty he is, that he wasn't smart enough to be like, this is illegal. I'm incriminating myself. So it really blows my mind that he's that much of a piece of shit. And then, did you see the video of him? He's like interrogating the fucking pastor, and the pastor puts his hand on him, and he says something like, listen, man, I'm just trying. And he goes, whoa, don't push me. Like, so here's what really fucking boils my blood. So imagine sitting in church, right? You're just sitting there, you're fucking you're trying to get your life right, your head right, and you've got your kids. There's a video and a picture of, it looks like an Asian couple and a kid.
Yeah,
this
correct.
kid is fucking terrified. Dude, they don't know what's going on. 1 year ago in Minnesota, there was a fucking guy who came into a church and shot the fucking church up. If I'm in this church, I'm thinking, we're about to die. This happened last year. People got shot and killed.
Yeah.
So at what point are you going to sit here and tell me, oh, Jan 6, Jan 6, Jan 6? But then is that like a get out of jail free card? You can just go terrorize the fucking world and your excuse to doing it was, Jan 6. No,
Well,
bitch.
You are right. He did come back weak as fuck, and he put his own face on blast with this one. There was an article, this one's funny to me, where Gavin Newsom was asked about Don Lemon's involvement.
Oh, that's another motherfucker to get
and
my blood boiling.
He
Fuck
said,
that guy.
the reporter said he seemed caught off guard, brushing aside knowledge about it during a press event. He knows everything that what Don Lemon did in Minnesota, Like, those people are told certain things like this on the fucking fly. And
That's Glitter Beach Barbie over there, fucking Gavin, fucking dick face.
oh my God.
That's another one.
All right, next question here, Mr.
That'll be the next show, Gavin Newsom.
This question is interesting for me because I want you to compare, let's say, like the last 15 years of the news and how it has rapidly moved almost extremely to the absolute left, okay? Is Don Lemon responsible for declining trust in mainstream media when it comes to the left Democrats' political points of view?
I mean, I wouldn't put all of that on him, but he's definitely a very large. I mean,
His
I would say
platform was massive, Ronan.
I would say Tucker Carlson is just as guilty as Don Lemon.
Yeah, but okay, but that's like saying, but what's so bad about Tucker Carlson?
Well, a lot of
look. Let me take that back. Hold on. Both of them are, like, to me, a little off the wall. Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon. But if you put both of them in a room together and you say, okay, tell us your points of views on illegal immigration, the things that you always say matter, your home. So why are we taking care of the other home, right? If you put both of those men in a room and you ask them things that matter to you and I and the PTE show, immigration, veterans, healthcare for the citizens before anyone else, controlling the borders, and you ask these men in a room those exact same questions each, are you gonna fucking, as a normal human being, agree with even 10% of what Don Lemon has to say?
No, because I'm conservative. I would believe what Tucker Carlson says, but if I was liberal, I would believe what Don Lemon said. And that's the problem.
Are you serious?
That's the problem.
Does the disease really exist that liberals just...
And people try to say the same about conservatives. They try to say that, oh, you'll believe anything that the right says. You're always going to believe.
It's not about what I believe. It's about the person representing the people. What are his values? I don't care about what you believe or don't believe. I care about, okay, it's not about belief. You ask them the first question, what is your stance on illegals coming into this country? And Don Lemon's answer is, well, they're asylum seekers.
It's stolen land.
Versus Tucker Carlson saying, well, they should go through the port of entry and do it the legal way.
Yes.
Why is a liberal okay with an asylum seeker who steals your money, my money, our taxes, the state's taxes?
Brother.
Why is that liberal okay with that? It's not about what you believe. It's about fundamental moral values. Why
Brother, that right there is the number one question that goes through my brain every day of the week. I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Sometimes I think I'm crazy.
People in a fucking room, you ask them that one question right there. I'm sorry, but that right there to me shows a sickness in someone. Okay, watch this. Let's say you didn't cross the border illegally through some trail or something. And let's say you go through JFK Airport and you get a ticket to America. But before you can step out of the airport, you've got to go through customs. You've got to go through port of entry. You've got to go. There's a process, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if the minute you get off the plane, instead of going to that line, you know what I'm talking about?
Go out the exit door.
You just fucking take off running. Your ass is either going to be shot or arrested.
So that question that you're asking about, why would a liberal think that? You can ask that same liberal, what is a woman?
Oh yeah, they can't even.
And they're going to be
that.
like, well, anyone can be a woman. Like when I hear people say, what is a woman? I'm like, oh my God, stop it. My fucking brains is going to explode. Like when I hear what is a woman and somebody can't, like, dude, bro, I sit through hours of Senate hearings because of crypto and stocks. And I sit here and I watch these people and I'm like, how in the fuck can I get on here? Because these people are garbage. And I heard this woman, what is a woman?
Who?
What do you mean by that?
Nancy Mace?
None of them. What do you mean
No,
by?
I'm saying, did Nancy Mace ask the question?
Oh,
You know
no.
she's that congresswoman from like South Carolina.
Yeah. No, she's awesome.
I love her.
It could be anybody. And it's just like, well, what do you mean? What is a woman? It's like, are you fucking high? Like, what's the matter with you? What do you mean? What is a woman? Like, well, can men have babies? Well, yes. What? Like, I can't relate with these people. Like, when I hear that, I just had your funeral in my head. Dude died.
Yeah.
Gone. But so when you ask yourself, did Don Lemon cause all this? No, but he was a big anchor for it. But like,
well, okay,
these
think
people
about
are
this.
sick, dude.
Think about this. These platforms that people like Don Lemon have, right? They're massive. Well, at least his was massive.
It was massive, yeah.
And think about this. Imagine every person that listened to it. It's just like us. We're doing it in a very different, modern way.
Yeah.
But it's like you go to a restaurant. You've heard this a million times being in that industry. If one person says a good thing versus one person says a bad thing, the bad comment spreads faster and like a wildfire. So imagine this one fucking libtard sitting in the fucking living room eating their TV dinner, and all of a sudden they hear something Don Lemon says, and then they call their friend and pass it on. And then that friend is like, oh my God, yeah, I heard that, blah, blah, blah. How many times has that story been twisted?
Yeah.
I feel like liberals don't value
facts,
the way they probably should. Like, oh, it's funny, that page that I was telling you about that I jumped on, almost every single comment that came. So it's a page on Facebook that basically it's called the conservative right versus the liberal left or something like that, right? And it's like a fucking battle page where you will, like, liberals and conservatives are fighting with each other. Like, it's genius. It's wonderful. But here's the thing that's terrible.
It's wonderful.
It is. It's actually really good. But here's the thing that's bad about it. Almost every single post that I have seen, and this is funny because we talked a lot about this on the last episode. Almost every single post that I have seen from someone on the left, I would take it, I would save the picture, I would save the title, I would save the description, whatever it was, right? And I would put it on ChatGPT. Do you know how many times ChatGPT came back and said, this is bogus, basically? This is bullshit from
you were like fact checking them in live?
I was fact checking the shit out of them. They were like, this isn't ChatGPT was on our side in this case and was like, actually, this is not true at all. And the funny thing was, it even went as far as telling me what it was supposed to be. Like, how
so
they
corrected it and told you the actual facts.
Yeah, it was good. And when it was the truth, it did not paint a good picture for that liberal posting it. They basically posted it, Donald Trump telling the January 6th, people,
the committee,
where the BBC edited that video,
basically
telling them, go and attack the Capitol. That's what these liberals are doing. They're like taking a real thing and twisting it to favor them.
Yes.
Not knowing that we can fact check anything so fucking easily.
Well,
it's kind of funny that we had the episode where it didn't work the way you wanted it, but for me, I would just like plug it in and it told the truth.
Well, and that's the thing is that a lot of liberals, they they don't do research. They don't do their due diligence, and they just trust the science, right? They just trust the science until the science is, what is a woman? So I love that saying, trust the science, because when the pandemic was around,
Yeah.
everything was, oh, trust the science, trust the science, trust the science, until now, where they don't trust the science. Like when it comes to the trans community and the women and the this and the that, and it's like, I thought we were are we not trusting science anymore? Like, what's going on here?
Right.
Fuck them. They listen to what, they're very selective listeners. They're fucking absolute hypocrites to start with. They'll do whatever they want. They'll say whatever they want. Did you hear about this fucking guy in Minnesota? He was walking and he was in a protest. He was protesting with them. They'll eat their own. And he was wearing a hoodie that was an American flag hoodie on the back. It said freedom. They made this guy rip his hoodie off in the middle of the street because they said, if you don't take that off, we're going to fucking kill you. So he takes this hoodie off. And all I can think to myself, and they're like surrounding him. They're threatening him.
And you know what the freedom hoodie is, right?
Hold on a second. It's the Charlie Kirk.
Okay, good.
So, but you're going to sit here, demand that this guy take it off, or you're going to physically harm him. And then when you're done doing that, you're going to turn around and call me a fascist? What? Like the hypocrisy of these people. And the problem is they don't see it like that. Like I can see in our last episode, there's a lot of things about Trump I don't like, but I'm not blind. I'm not stupid. Like there's things that he does that are not good, but I can see that. I can understand that. I can speak of that. It doesn't mean, but these people on the left, their shit don't stink and they don't see it as a problem ever, no matter what they do. No matter what they do, we did the insurrection, so they can do whatever they want to do because we did it first. They're just, cleaning house.
I want to talk about what you just said with, this thing. The media has fucking pushed this big time, in my opinion. Why in the fuck, we've said it before, why in the fuck has that word fascist or the word Marxist, or why have those words become so fucking powerful, okay? And they're not even used in the right context. Look at the people of Iran. Look at the people of Venezuela. Look at the people of Palestine. Even the people of Palestine. I feel bad for them because the ones that, like Palestinians that support Hamas, they're probably threatened with their lives if they don't. And they're not getting a piece of the pie that's sent to them from Iran, They're just like shields. They're patsies. But look at all of those, places in the world I just mentioned. That is, fascism. That is Marxism. That is, ruling with an iron fist. I mean, the people here in America, I feel like, especially the white liberal, they have nothing better to do than just bitch and complain. And it's people like Don Lemon, like he egged them on. He egged on a whole entire culture. Like I was saying, the lie, the misinformation, the fake news, that spreads faster than the truth. The truth is harder to find because you have to do work. A lie is easier to pass on because it's just a word of mouth. It's just somebody saying something and somebody being a fucking idiot and believing it.
Yeah.
Well, so
it's
Don
almost
Lemon
like
really fucking he put his stank on American culture.
You know what I'll say? You know what I'll say to that? I was just about to say this, and then you listen. Don Lemon made it okay to call people names if they disagree with you, because he's the fucking victim, right? He's the, oh my God, you're a homophobe, you're white supremacist. So anytime the way that Don Lemon reports his news is he's very opinionated. It's rarely factual. He just, like, hearing the shit he used to talk about the BLM was like, it was dog shit. It was bullshit. It's almost like, you know what it is? It's like when we have a show and we don't properly prepare for it. And you kind of run into it. You're kind of like zigging, right? That's how Don Lemon is. And it's like he says things that aren't factual, But
Yeah,
what
but the
he's done
difference
is
between Don Lemon,
he's made it okay. He's made it okay to call people names if they push back.
but
He's a homophobe. He's a
that
white
goes
supremacist.
back to my point. You know, if you are a journalist, it is your responsibility to prepare for every show. We wing it sometimes because we're new, we're learning, we're catching this vibe. I mean,
And it's
I
our
think
show.
the last episode and this episode, we took it a little more serious and we came to the table correct because we didn't, we never want to sound like a hypocrite. And I'm glad we did this episode on the two Dons because Donnie J up in the White House and Don Lemon in the fucking poorhouse now, straight up, they have a responsibility to the American people, or both on different wavelengths, but they have a responsibility to report factual information at all times. And you're right, it is irresponsible when Mr. Trump says something and then reneges on it. It affects people's money across the country. And the same goes with Don Lemon. When you go into a church and you start berating people, or
Unbelievable, dude.
absolutely unbelievable. I'll go back
Vile.
every single time. You
Vile.
should be stripped of your right to be a journalist
And a human. So let me just point out a couple.
Journalism should be, if it were done the right way, journalism should be 100% factual with a zero tolerance policy, to the point where things like the BBC, you get sued. And I think that's why someone like Don Lemon got fired. You got to remember, his ratings were good until they weren't, and then CNN was like, okay, you gotta go.
Well, all CNN has is Trump. Like, dude, CNN is going to be in a lot of trouble in 2028. CNN's ratings were dog shit when Joe Biden was the president because nobody gave a fuck about Joe Biden. He was a fucking sleep at the wheel. Let me point out a couple things that I pulled up.
Don lost his job during that Biden administration.
23, because his ratings went down because they didn't have Trump. What are they going to do? Talk about him going to court? Nobody fucking cared about that.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit.
So then all of a sudden he's gone. So let me point out a couple things about Don Lemon.
Okay.
And first of all, in 2014, he got some criticism about some insensitive comments and victim blaming when he was talking to an accuser of the Bill Cosby, that whole scandal.
Yeah.
In 2014, he was named in the worst journalism of 2020 of 2014 from the Roundup Columbia Journalism Review. Check this out. This is my two favorites right here. In 2018, Don Lemon said that white men are domestic terrorists, and he went
married to a white man.
He went and banged one. And then in 2019, a civil lawsuit was filed alleging sexual assault. A bartender filed a civil complaint alleging Lemon assaulted him at the bar. Yeah, little soy boy trying to get some wee, yo.
Okay.
So, it's the minute that if they would have went to that church and protested in the parking lot and on the sidewalk, they would have been fucking assholes. The minute they walked into that church, they were insurrectionists. And I hope to God, the reason I pulled up all those notes from the first one, do you remember how many people I told you went to jail for Jan 6? 1,100 sentenced, 170 are still waiting for sentencing, 27 felonies. The reason I brought these numbers is because these motherfuckers better go to jail that went into that church.
Yeah, they are going to go to jail. They're going to turn the 18 and round it up to 20.
We'll see. That's my frustration is we'll see. Will they go to fucking jail?
That is mind-boggling to me. And I know it was part of the last episode, but we've got to talk about it again. That is mind-boggling to me that only 18 reported arrests have happened, and not one of those measly little 18 has anything. I'll go back to it until it becomes important again. Not one arrest has involved anybody who stole money from all of us. Federal tax money, leering centers, opening health clinics. Really quick, did you hear today he was sitting, where the fuck was he sitting? He was being interviewed, and Nick Shirley, and he says, we're about to blow the cover on just one scam in California that crushes the dollar total. of Minnesota. Yeah, and I'm waiting. I am waiting. If that
Yeah,
breaking news
dude.
happens, you know exactly what to do on the tickety tick.
Dude, if I'm Gavin Newsom, I'm sweating bullets, bro.
That motherfucker is the devil.
Ooh,
He is
bro, we
the
could listen. Let's do an episode on him because I got some shit that could fucking fire back on him.
We could do that. Absolutely.
I need to start seeing perp walks, dude. I need to start seeing people in handcuffs. It's what like it's like the questions you're asking. It's hard to answer because to me, like I really, and I don't say this as an asshole, but I think these people have like for real mental illnesses to think like this because there's people protesting in the streets to free Maduro.
Oh my God.
There's
Did
people
you see that?
protesting in the streets to save their Somali neighbors. Like, are you fucking that simple? That these people, one is an actual dictator. He's a criminal. He's killing people. And then the people are robbing you blind and you're protecting them?
Did
Like,
you see the ICE agent in the
yes. I
he's
know
in the
exactly.
Suburban and
I know.
he looks at the person, he puts his hand up and he goes, "You're impeding an investigation and helping a sexual
Yes.
offender who is an illegal immigrant, and you won't stop honking that horn." The minute he said that, I saw something
In his
in that
eyes.
young man's eyes.
Yep.
Okay. I saw something where
I saw the same thing.
that was like at the end of this year, okay? At the end of 2026, when they do like moments throughout the year, ringing in the new year, you know what I'm talking about? That should be the number one thing that ICE agent, because these motherfuckers, if somebody came up to me and said that, I literally would cringe and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." Like
I would feel
my
like such a
head
piece
would
of shit.
exactly. I would feel like an absolute piece of shit.
I would
That
probably
should
go
be the
join ICE
number
that
one
day.
clip. What?
I would probably go join ICE that day.
I mean, seriously,
If
like
all the bullshit I see on the internet, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever the fucking TikTok, that should be the number one reel everywhere. That
that's
exact
what
reel
the
you're
one I
talking
just
about.
mentioned.
100%.
Absolutely. Like when
You
you
can
see
see in
his
his
eye,
soul. His soul says, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
yep.
what is the matter with you?
It's just
That
such a
when I saw
shame
that,
that
I felt exactly the same way you just said it.
yeah,
Like,
it's such a shame that what you want to believe your neighbors, like I have a liberal neighbor. If that was the way she felt or thought or acted towards an ICE agent, I truly would be disgusted that that was my neighbor.
absolutely.
That is not normal at all. Like,
And you know what's even scarier? There are millions of people that are like, "You go, girl, honk that horn, blow that whistle."
oh yeah, seriously,
They don't
like it's
see it. They
ridiculous.
don't see it as a bad thing.
They don't see it as a bad thing. Yet the minute,
Crazy,
watch
bro.
this, watch this,
Crazy times.
watch this. Do you think that that guy who they're trying to, arrest for whatever the fuck his crime is, do you think that that guy is gonna say, "Oh, I'm robbing a," or no? Let's use his case as the example. I'm gonna sexually accost a liberal or
Yeah,
conservative.
exactly. Yeah,
They
yeah,
just see pussy.
yeah.
That
Do you think? And
so what happens when a family's, daughter gets sexually molested by an illegal immigrant and that daughter belongs to a household, of liberals, of extreme leftist, anti-ICE motherfuckers, right? Do they not pick up the phone just like you and I and call 911? Do they not, like, do they
they also
hide?
want to defund the police while calling the police to complain about you.
That's my point. Exactly. Like, I
These
and
people.
I can't even articulate my words when I'm thinking about this because it literally fucking mind boggles me that these people, will literally be okay with defending the Maduros, defending the poor fucking ICE agent, calling out the dumb libtard.
Yeah.
You're impeding an investigation on an illegal sexual predator.
Yeah.
You are okay with that being around your children?
And maybe they don't have children. Maybe they don't understand. Because I will say this, dude, before we jump off here, I will say this. I was never political until I had kids. COVID
but
and my kids
no,
fucking
but
something
that's
sparked.
the belief that I want to like take away from this whole entire thing, that everybody starts off as a liberal, but everybody, when responsibility and the real world comes into play for them, their points of view change, and
The
with
ones who wake
age
up,
and wisdom
yeah.
and responsibility comes logic and common sense, which I feel like a lot of liberals lack in, is common sense.
It's like there's a sleep at the wheel, man. Some people wake up, some people don't. And but back to it, like Don Lemon is, he's the troop leader,
So
And
in our
I hope the
favor,
worst thing. I hope the maximum. And I love that Donald's talking about him, the good Don. I hope the maximum fucking pain on him. I hope he gets the maximum penalty. The max. I don't. He's got to go. He's got something has to
you
happen.
want to watch something funny? I'm
Sure.
almost willing to bet you've seen this before. Let me give this to you really quick. This is
That would have been 2 episodes with no videos, and you had to go and fuck it up with a video.
no. This is relevant to what we're doing. It
Uh huh.
just shows his character more than anything. That's how I view this.
This isn't like a gay video, is it?
No, it's really good.
God, it's just his face, bro. He's just got. You gotta hit the play button.
I'm hitting it, but
It's
I might
frozen.
have a glitch. Oh, that sucks because this is a really good video. Why isn't it playing? I wonder if it's because we're on the platform and it's a big video, or it's from a site.
Pierce. Speaking of which, Pierce was always very left, and now he's kind of coming back to reality.
Well, you've got to also look and see that maybe deep down, even though he doesn't openly talk about it as much as I think he should, look at his whole goddamn fucking country as being overtaken by Muslims.
Yeah, you know what I would say about Pierce Morgan is going back to your comment earlier about being a journalist and kind of staying in the middle. Like I feel like he pushes both envelopes. He goes right, he goes left. So I don't agree with everything he says. I don't disagree with everything he says, but I do think that he's pretty consistent in the middle. Sometimes he's great, and then sometimes like he really pushes back on like Kanye West. He pushed back on Nick Fuentes.
What's that one guy, the guy that got kicked out of the UK and he was a former fighter?
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Did you ever see
He pushed back on Andrew Tate.
Yeah, but Andrew Tate gave it to him.
Yeah,
Really
he
good.
did.
Yeah, he fucking ripped his ass apart.
So, but
and Pierce just like I think was almost dumbfounded and stood there and took it.
yeah. I mean, because I don't know. I don't know exactly how I feel about him, but like I would take Pierce Morgan over fucking Don Lemon's bitch ass any day of the week, because at least you're gonna get like some factual shit.
Sure.
Where Don Lemon is like, it's just like listen to me talk and rant about what I feel like ranting about.
Did you see this?
What are we just going down a fucking video hole now?
No, this is new. It's not a video.
You know what, dude? I don't know how I feel about her either.
What?
I don't know how I feel about her all of a sudden fucking on the MAGA bus. I don't know.
I'm not so worried about her being on the MAGA bus. I just think that if anything, I have the opposite feeling of supporting what she said. I feel like she just gave that fucking cocksucker Don Lemon another platform. He's feeding off of it.
Yeah, and he has he is retaliated on a video talking about how she's not even an American citizen. She needs to be deported.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, dude, fuck all that noise. Didn't she sing that song, Wet Ass Pussy or something? I can't take that bitch serious.
No, that was Cardi B.
Well, same shit. They're the same fucking woman.
Oh, my God. You're out of control.
All right, well, that was a damn good show, brother. 2 in a row, back to back, bitches.
Good show.
Fuck Don Lemon. I hope, you know what, man? I pray to Jesus that somebody says, hey, Donnie, these 2 motherfuckers have been talking shit. I hope he sees this show. And if he does, I can't stand your bitch ass. And I say this on the behalf of millions and millions of people. You can eat a fucking bag of dicks, you prick ass, vile piece of shit.
And we pray that you get charged with insurrection and you get thrown in jail.
Yeah, but in a woman's jail, so you can't get no dick.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That would be funny as shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if this conversation made you uncomfortable, good. That means it mattered. If you agree, disagree, or want to yell at us through the screen, make sure you're following us. Catch up the full chaos on YouTube at PTE YouTube and Uncensored Clips on Instagram at the PTE Show. My bad. Instagram. Because we don't do it safe, we push the envelope.